Hello, Lilla here from Purring Oaks with your monthly card pull for March. I have a deck that I'm really excited about that I'd like to introduce as my new deck of the month. It's a deck based on the Lotería. We had a friend just land. I don't know if that you heard that, but we have a lot of stink bugs, and one just collided very loudly with that. So the stink bugs are all about the Lotería, it seems. But yeah, I've had a really interesting connection to Lotería. Like, it's something that popped up for me just as like literally an aesthetic set of symbols when I was very young. And I feel like I have never really, I've looked for books, I've tried to ask people questions, and I feel like I've never really gotten a good answer on what it's about. So it was really cool to stumble on this deck because it felt like the universe was maybe saying that now is the time when I get to learn more about this cultural tradition of cartomancy, because I think at the end of the day I have like energetic resonances, not residences, with most cartomantic traditions. Cartomancy just being the art of card reading for divination, but some of them are more psychically opaque to me than others. So very excited about this deck. It has beautiful illustrations. The only commentary I had was that the guidebook seemed to be made with a bad adhesive, so it kind of like fell apart immediately as soon as I did in my first reading. But content-wise, it's gold. And then the other deck I'm going to pull from, I usually like to have 2 decks at a time because my Gemini ass likes the variety. And also I do think it's nice to get different layers of messages through different filters, right? Because that's like, each deck is kind of its own mouthpiece with its own flavor. So this is a deck that I used last month for the February reading when I got it in Chicago, again on a synchronistic whim at a cool little Magick shop. It's a kitty deck. We have many kitty decks. Not surprisingly, we have many cat-themed decks at Purring Oaks. And they're all like adorable and cute, and honestly, you just have me a cat deck, you know, it doesn't have to be like extra special. Being a cat deck is just cool enough on its own. But this one I think is really well done, like extra well done, very thoughtful, again, like really gorgeous illustrations, still getting to know it, but loving its energy. So those are the 2 decks that we're working with today. And yeah, the astrology of the first part of the year has been pretty wild. I saw this meme that definitely was AI generated, thankfully, but it was of a cat, excuse me, a cat driving a car in like, you know, a high-speed obstacle course chase with like a dog in the passenger seat and like chickens in the back seat, and it was just chaos, and the cat's like swerving really hard, and there's like honking, and the whole car's like rattling, and the caption was like the first week of this eclipse season or something, and I was like, or like me driving us into eclipse season or something, and I was like, yeah, that tracks. So yeah, so it's always an interesting time to be asking questions when there's so much big energy going around, and we know it's for everyone, it's not just for us. So I guess, you know, the focus of the question today, I usually try to keep it open-ended, but never hurts to have a little bit of a specification, right, on your question. Would be, you know, what do we need to see that's going to give us a little extra heart, a little extra strength, a little extra courage, inspiration, whatever it is you need to get you through this month, right? Because some really big stuff is opening up, but yes, it requires a lot of energy. It's asking a lot of us, and that's exhausting. And, you know, I'm putting it out there that all of you are going to find whatever you need to make it through the month, no matter what. But if we can add to that with a little something that's going to just go, okay, yes, give us that moment of like, you know, the dopamine of feeling confident and like we're on our highest path, then why not get that, right? So that's kind of the intention we're putting out there with this month's pull. So for those of you who aren't familiar with my card pull method, it's not really a card pull so much, it's just me chaotically shuffling. Sometimes guys will jump out. That was like 3 at once, so usually I'm like, could we have 1 please instead of 4? And sometimes it takes a while, so sometimes decks are a little stickier There we got one. This deck is got a little bit more friction, so sometimes that'll take a little longer. Wow, love this. We got El Melón. And I don't know this deck very well yet, so we're going to look at the interpretation together, and I'm going to tell you what my voices have to say about it. This is so funny because Brooke and I have been talking a lot, or I should say I've been saying to Brooke a lot that I think like being juicy is such a good thing, and like we should all be leaning into juiciness as like a positive energetic quality. And so El Melón, it's like, is sustenance, juicy and raw, sliced up for the taking. You've labored long, so now you can enjoy the fruits that have finally flourished. So this can mean like opportunity, abundance. I mean, I love this. Thank you. This is great. This is so positive. Don't be afraid to receive, essentially, is also what it's saying. And then, okay, it's like it might also indicate sharing of a more intimate nature, as hinted by the shape and color of the open cantaloupe. Uh-oh, this is a... Would that be PG-13? Or, yeah, that would be PG-13. It's a PG-13 deck, I guess. Actually, that's funny because there was one other fruit in this deck. It was La Pera, like the pear, I think. And I pulled that the other day, and the description also definitely was kind of like PG-13. I was like, interesting. This deck has some sexy energy. But anyway, so they talk about, you know, fruit and fertility and relishing sweetness, whatever that looks like. There's also the idea of like these seeds in the middle kind of coming to light, and, you know, maybe in this time period, and, you know, astrologically with the beginning of the year and like Aries season and stuff like that kind of makes a lot of sense too, of like the seeds that were planted in the wintertime, right, or fell down into the soil in the fall are waking up now. So like it is very like ace energy, right? Like a 1 in numerology, like just this, whoa, I'm here suddenly and this thing is starting. But it is starting. So that's pretty cool. Love that. Let's see what the other deck has to say. Thank you, Lotería deck. All right, now we've got our kitty deck, which has beautiful design on the back, by the way. It's like the constellation is a cat. I really appreciate when a deck is thought of as like a comprehensive art project, and like, you know, the box is cute and the back of the cards is cute, and, you know, the symmetry has been thought out, and I just appreciate artistic thoughtfulness. Okay. Wow, we just got the nicest cards from both of these decks. This is one of my favorites. Because who doesn't love abundant manifestation? No, it's one of my favorites because I really like the myth that's attached to it. So I do know this one, but I'm just going to look it up anyway so I can read from it directly because they'll do a better job than me. So yeah, they talk about, you know, prosperity, love, well-being, all these things. They're like, it's coming. Yay, it's coming. So it's actually important to, I think there's an element of like rest in here, because it's actually important to put aside some stuff so that this stuff can manifest. Like now may not be the time to just be like pounding everything, trying to do so much at once, you know? And the myth, so each of the cards in this deck has a different breed of kitty, and they, or like a very specific type of cat pictured, and they talk about the mythology or the cultural stories significance attached to various types of cats, which is really interesting because, like, you know, a black cat has a different energy and symbolism socioculturally than like a tortie, right? So this was a tortie, and basically they're saying tortoiseshell's mythos is a message of expectant and abundant manifestation, which we just talked about, right? Basically, for whatever reason, they're known to attract money, cure health problems, protect people. Tortoiseshells are said to be a favorite of the sun god or goddess. Legend says that a very ordinary cat agreed to play host to the sun so that he might experience earthly pleasures. He rode with the cat for a day, experiencing delights he could only observe from his heavenly post. Upon his departure, he left the tortoiseshell with a stunning coat dappled with red and black stripes. So I thought that myth was really cute because it literally means that they're, you know, sun-kissed, like that kind of golden quality that comes out in the dark fur. I was like, that's so cute. So yeah, I feel like I don't even have to say anything more because we had such like great energy for this reading. I mean, that's kind of rare. I mean, you know, sometimes we can get a lot of cool stuff coming out of a reading, but I feel like we don't often just get like, everything's gonna be amazing, it's fine, everything's fine, chill out, you know, like we don't always get those kind of messages. I definitely had my share recently of some that were like, you know, the opposite, kind of like crazy stuff is happening, don't deny it. So I don't know about you, but that makes me feel so good, and hopefully everyone out there is feeling a little relieved and excited. Gives you a little bit more pep in your step to go wherever you're trying to get to this month. Yeah, just remember it's all connected. So if you're seeing something, there's something there. That's tonight's nugget of wisdom for you. All right, I think that's all we've got for tonight. But please tune back in whenever the next episode is for some card slinging and some cat art and puns and that sort of thing. And maybe some PG-13 puns and suggestive fruit imagery as well. I don't know. It's different every time. I'm kind of a chaos reader. So if you enjoy that kind of reading and my general rambles about life and my very fashionable wardrobe, then you're in the right place. See you next time. Stay purring.